Hi, welcome back to The Distressed Princess. I'm Rhonda, and today I want to share with you another YouTuber I have been watching. Her name is Sherry, and she is the Posh Paper Lady. She makes these gorgeous notebooks and notepads and paper crafts, and I have just enjoyed watching her so much that I wanted to try making one for myself. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to take one of her techniques and I'm going to use a Dollar Tree portfolio with a paper pad in it, and I'm going to turn it into something so pretty that you wouldn't even believe it came from the Dollar Tree. I'm also going to link her channel and the video that I got this idea from in my description box below, and I recommend that you all go see her. This all starts with a pad of pretty paper, and this was originally purchased at Tuesday Mornings, and you can usually find a good deal on their scrapbooking papers and crafting papers. I'll also be using one of these paper folios from the Dollar Tree. It has a hardback cover and it has a notepad inside. So it's already got everything that we need. It just needs to be prettied up. Also, I'm going to be using a little scrap piece of paper that I've been saving just because I thought it had the cutest colors and designs. And I'll be using a sticker from the Dollar Tree. It would have been better if I would have had a roll of craft paper with a pretty print on it. However, I didn't. So I'm using these sheets of paper instead. So I'm going to need 2 sheets that are the same design, and this will be the front and the back of the book. For the inside of the book, you need coordinating color paper to match the outside of the book. So I'm going with these pages that are just a pale pink, and you can't really see it on the camera, but they do have some little white dots. And I'm going to use 2 pieces of that paper. Because that pad of paper had a hole punched at the top, I wanted to cut that hole away from all of these papers. And I am a total newbie at all of this. This is the first time I've ever done any paper crafting at all, really. And now, after I've already made this, I realize I could have probably cut at least 2 sheets of paper at one time. I tried to remove the sticker from the front of the portfolio, but as you see, it wanted to stay stuck on, and then I realized, well, I'm just covering it with paper anyway, so I just left it. Then I did a little layout of the portfolio in the papers to see exactly how they were going to fit and wrap around. You can see here how one large sheet of paper would be better than having to use 2 pieces to go around the front and the back. To attach the papers, I'm going to use this double-sided tape from the Dollar Tree. Before you get started with the taping, you will need to remove the original pad of paper from the portfolio, and it's just really easily just pulled right off. And I put the tape all the way down the whole front side of that portfolio. Now, Sherry has some much wider double-sided tape that maybe could be purchased on Amazon. So if I'm going to be making some more of these portfolios, I definitely intend to buy some wider tape so I don't have to put quite so many pieces down like this. Then remove all the backings from the double-sided tape. Making sure that the paper is positioned exactly where you want it to go, open up the portfolio and press the tape down to secure it into place. I used my Cricut scraper to burnish it all down nice and tight. Now position the second piece of paper that's going to go on the outside of the portfolio and make sure it lines up with the first piece. And put a piece of double-sided tape down so that you can join those two pieces of paper together. Obviously, you can omit this step if you have a piece of paper long enough to wrap around the front and the back of the portfolio. Next, I taped up the whole back side of the portfolio. I removed all the backings from the tape and decided that I had probably better put a piece of that double-sided tape onto the binding of the portfolio too. Now with it all taped up, I opened the portfolio and secured it all down onto the paper. The back side was a little too long, so I trimmed it down to match the front side. To make the corners nice, when you're wrapping this paper around the portfolio, you need to cut off all the corners. Then stand the portfolio up, bending the paper to make a natural crease where it will go around the portfolio. Because this is heavier paper, that step makes it a lot easier to fold it around the portfolio and make a crease. Then I used my Cricut scraper to burnish it down around the right side and the left side. And I have to tell you that this process was so satisfying to me. Something about wrapping this pretty paper around this portfolio just made my heart sing. Before I started working on the top and bottom edges, I taped down the left and right sides and got them wrapped in place. Then I repeated these steps for the top and bottom edges. Now the Posh paper lady has all these nice tools and gadgets that she does her work with, but since I'm a beginner, I'm just using what I already had on hand. Once the paper is taped and wrapped around the portfolio, then you need to burnish down the binding edge. And if you don't have a Cricut scraper or the bone tool like Sherry uses, I imagine maybe a credit card would work okay. And this step really makes a difference in how your portfolio opens and closes. It makes it so much easier and not so stiff. Now it's time to pretty up the inside, and you'll use your two coordinating pieces of paper and you'll cut them to fit so that they will lay on the inside of the portfolio. And again, if you had one piece of paper long enough to go across the whole thing, that would probably be better. But since I don't, mine have to overlap, and I'm just going to put that overlapped side where the paper pad is going to go on top, and it'll be hidden. The same way you taped up the front and back of the portfolio, lay the tape down on the inside of the portfolio, but stay off of the pretty patterned paper because that's going to be showing. To make sure that the edges are stuck down good, put some of that tape all around the edges of your paper too. Then remove all of your tape backings from the portfolio and the paper that you're sticking down and press it into place. And repeat the taping process for your second sheet of paper. Use your scraper tool or your credit card to press in that fold that goes in the middle. Next, we pretty up the paper pad, and I'm using just some scrap of that printed part that's on the front of the portfolio, and I'm going to cut it down to size so that it will wrap around that black top edge of the paper pad. I used the double-sided tape to stick down that scrap of paper, but I did notice that the black part that was holding the paper pad together was sort of coming loose. So then I used some craft glue, also from the Dollar Tree, to get that nice and stuck down, because you don't want your paper pad coming apart. Then burnish down all of the edges so that you have nice, crisp folds. The Posh paper lady uses something called reptile glue in her paper crafting. I don't have any of that, so I just used the Dollar Tree clear craft glue to stick the paper pad back down onto the portfolio. Please be careful moving your portfolio around too much while you're decorating it until that glue is cured. For decorations, I'm going to use some pretty pattern paper I've been saving and some scraps of this paper I've been using all along to make a band and then sort of a little card that goes around the front. And I'll top it all off with a pretty butterfly sticker from the Dollar Tree. I cut the green strip of paper so that it would wrap around the front and onto the back, and used the double-sided tape to stick it down. I taped this scrap floral piece of paper to the center and put the butterfly on top. And what a transformation. Isn't this the cutest little pad of paper you ever did see? Now let's make a pretty matching pin. I'm going to use some glitter vinyl that also came from Tuesday Mornings, and it only cost $3.99. This is super simple. I just cut a strip wide enough to wrap around the pin. And then I used the pin as a guide to cut the correct length. Then peel off the backing and roll the pin up inside the vinyl. Because this was glitter vinyl, it didn't really want to stick to itself where it overlapped, so I used some of that crafter's glue to glue it down. Here is the completed project. It was so much fun to do, and I am just tickled to death about it. I think that this would make such an adorable gift, or you could even make and sell them at craft fairs. I really would like to thank Sherry, the Posh paper lady, for showing me how to do this. I hope you all go and check out her channel. I know I'm going to be binge watching all of her videos. I hope you all have a great, wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye!